Brian from Weird World War II again, and today we're going to be doing our demo for infantry combat. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the steps of infantry combat. We won't go through every single weapon and explosive and all that. That'll be in the rules when you guys look for those. And that rule, the link to those rules will be in the description. There'll be a free PDF for you guys to check out because everybody loves free shit. Okay? So, and we're also here today with the lovely Melanie.
Hey.
All right, so what we have today is we've got a unit of Russian infantry versus a unit of SS Panzer Grenadiers, and they're coming in. They're gonna butt into each other into this German village here, and we also have some zombies floating around. Okay, so you'll see the supernatural aspect, and how it moves in the turn, and you'll see how this game is played. Okay, so first thing, every miniature represents a single miniature, so we all know that. Okay, now every figure on the board has two actions. Okay, and though there's a plethora of different actions that you can take in the game. You can shoot, you can move, you can run, you can
dance.
You can even dance.
No.
Anyway, okay. So, and you can ready grenades and throw grenades. You can start digging ditches, make booby traps, do all sorts of stuff. But everything takes a certain amount of actions. Okay, and each figure on the board normally has two actions. Now there are instances where figures may have more or less. Okay, and we'll get into that when we get further into the demo. Okay, so what we have here is we've got the Germans and the Russians are about to butt into each other, and there happens to be zombies right here in the middle. Okay, and so we're just going to go ahead and play this out, and we'll explain everything as we're doing it. Okay. Okay. So what we have here is we have some Russian troops coming on, German troops coming on. They're going to butt right into each other. Okay. So each soldier has what's called a troop quality. And troop qualities can be civilian, conscript, green, regular, veteran, elite, and heroic. These troops now, all the troops on the board, are considered regular. So that means they'll have a morale rating equated to that troop quality. Okay, so what that means, all the troops here all the normal troops have a morale of 10. Okay? What this morale is used for, it's obviously used for the morale. When squads start to lose troops, you know, the morale goes down and they'll have to do morale checks, okay? And they'll need a 10 or less to be cool. If not, they'll DD out, they'll break, okay? Now, the sergeants of the squad, their morale is usually 2 points higher than what the normal soldier is, okay? So their morale is a 12. Now, the assistant squad leaders, if they're present, and if there's like a section leader, like, you know, that's in charge of this medium machine gun, they would have usually 1 point higher than what the normal morale is. So they would be in the 11. Okay, so now morale is used for morale, obviously, and it is used for any kind of checks that might need to be done when you're performing an action. Okay, so for an example, we're going to say this rifle woman wants to shoot a rifle at this zombie. Okay? Now, her bolt action rifle uses 1d20 per action to shoot. Okay, so what I'll do, her morale is a 10. So I need to roll a 10 or less to hit. So I rolled a 16. So that means she failed to hit her target. Okay, now, what we'll do, and then another example would be, let's say this is an assistant squad leader. She's going to shoot her submachine gun. Now, submachine guns roll 3 d20s per action. Okay? Now, her morale is an 11. So, for me to hit, I need 11 or less. Okay, so we got a 15, that misses. We got a 10, that hits. And then we got a 20. Okay, so remember, 20s are bad in our system. 1s will always hit when you're making a fire action. 20s will always jam. Okay, so this person will have a jam on her. Okay? Now, and then with this hit, we'll roll against the zombie to see if she gets wounded. Okay? But that is how you use your morale to perform actions in the game. Now, this also includes if you want to throw a grenade. For them to throw the grenade. Now, there are modifiers for range and if there's something moving or whatever. But you need your morale. You need to roll under your morale equal to your morale or lower. And if there's any modifiers, you'll clump them into that too, okay? And if it's below your 10 or less, then you're cool with all the modifiers. And that's how you perform your actions, okay? The morale or less. Now that we know that there's the morale and kind of how that works, we're going to show what happens to a unit when they get chopped up, okay? So the squad that we just looked at just got wasted by a German heavy machine gun, okay? So if we look down here, we see that most of the squad has been mangled, okay? Been chopped up by that machine gun. So because that's happened, the integrity of the squad is in question because so many of their squad has been killed, and now we got to roll to see if the squad is going to be willing to stay on fighting or to run off. Now, usually a regular squad, if half of the squad size is killed in the same turn or action, they need to make a squad check, a squad morale check. So what I'm going to do right now, so here's the squad, that's surviving squad. We got, so more than half of the unit has been shot up, okay? Now, the only person we got, the squad leader's been killed, but the assistant squad leader's right here. Oh, actually, the squad leader's right here. Yeah, so she's there. So her morale is a 12, okay? So when you make a squad morale check, you go for the highest morale in the unit, okay? The highest morale is obviously the squad leader, and she's a 12. So I'm going to roll on a 12 or less. She's able to maintain her squad's integrity, and they'll keep fighting. If not, the unit will break. Okay, so she rolled a 14. So what that means is she's unable to keep the squad together, and they are now considered broken. Okay, so whenever a squad breaks, if they have any actions left in the turn, they have to seek cover. +5 cover. Or, excuse me, not +5. +3 cover. Okay? Now, normally, a stone wall would provide that, but because they broke on that location, that terrain no longer counts. So they got to run back into the woods. So they run their full actions. Whatever they haven't gone this turn, so they have 2 actions to move. Okay, so what I'm going to do is they're all going to run 10 actions into the woods. They all run 10 inches, and they're 2 actions in the woods. Actually, this chick can only go 5 because she's wounded. And then they'll go prone. Okay, and then at the beginning of next turn, during the squad morale phase, they can roll to see if they're going to be able to play this turn of the game. Okay, and we'll fast forward that real quick and show you what happens. Okay, we'll be right back. Now we're up in the next turn here. Okay, so it's now the squad rally phase. Okay, so we look down here and the squad is broken. They're all prone. Okay, now this is the time to see if they're going to be able to move or perform any actions this new turn. So I'm going to roll, and again, you roll for whatever the highest figure is in the unit, or alternatively, if there was another leader unit or another leader within command range of this squad, they could use that person's morale. Okay, now, but there isn't. That was just an example. So we need a 12 or less to see if they rally. Okay. And I rolled a 20. They do not rally. They stay broken. So what that means for the remainder of the turn, they have to stay prone right here. Okay? They're basically ineffective for the whole turn. Okay. Now, whenever a figure is affected by enemy action in a turn, they have to, on certain results, they'll have to make morale checks. Okay, and one of those examples would be if a soldier gets light wounded. Okay, so this Russian's running along, and she gets shot by a sniper. Okay, she ends up getting light wounded. All light wounded troops automatically fall prone. Okay, because of their wound, and they have to make a morale check. Okay, so Now, there is a modifier for anybody that's light wounded. It's at a +5. So what that means, when I roll the dice, she's at a +5 to her morale. Okay. Now this is to represent her injury. You know, the +5. She's bleeding. She's in pain. So she's really not. You know, she's a little more apt to get out of dodge than to stick around and fight. So I'm going to roll her morale. Now, she rolled a 1, which is awesome because what happens whenever you roll a 1? Remember, 1s are the best. Whenever someone rolls a morale check due to enemy action and rolls a 1, they are considered a hero. Okay, and you roll on the hero chart. Okay, so I'm going to roll her on the hero chart, and she rolled a 3. Okay, so she's considered a major hero. Boop. And what it says the figure becomes heroic with a +1 to the morale number and will never check their morale or take gut checks. The hero can operate cruiser weapons alone and never become suppressed unless within a blast. The hero will receive 1 free action immediately. So basically, she's elevated to an elite status, troop quality, and she gets an additional +1 to her morale because she's so badass. She took that bullet like, screw you, friends, I'm gonna kick your ass. So she basically does, she automatically, immediately has a free action to do whatever she wants to do. And then we would play that out. Now, if we reversed it, okay, if we rolled and she rolled a 20, 20s are cowards. If you roll a 20 on a morale check against enemy action, you're a coward. And you'll roll on the coward chart. So she's going to roll on the coward chart, and oh boy, there you go. She is a crybaby. And the crybaby says, freezes in place, goes prone, and sobs uncontrollably for their mother. They rally per the coward rules. So that kind of shows you a little bit of how morale works, okay? There's cool little aspects. If you roll a 1 for your squad, they become heroic. If you roll a 20, they all break. Individuals, if you roll a 1, you know, they can become heroes or cowards. And there's a cool chart that has all sorts of fun stuff. So that really kind of gives some flavor to the game where you have these individuals who take a wound and they just keep going, okay? And I've seen heroes become cowards, and I've seen cowards become heroes again. It's crazy. So it's a lot of fun. Okay. So that's just a quick synopsis of how the morale works for troops and what their morale number is, and how they perform actions and whatnot. We're about to get into the actions here. But that's kind of how the morale works. Now, and I'm not going to get into every detail of the rules because that's what the link is for. So there's more rules for certain kinds of troops, like specialist troops. Those would be kind of like combat engineers or scouts or like tank hunters or stuff like that. Like troops that have specific training, special forces, you know, paratroopers and commandos and stuff like that. There'll be some extra modifiers to their morale because they're badass. And then there'll be modifiers for like civilians or conscripts because, you know, these people are basically being thrust into combat, so their morale is tanked. You know, they're just freaking out. You know, they're fighting for their very lives. And if they could surrender, they probably would. But again, there's modifiers for that, and there's various levels of coward. And there's the coward rules, the specific rules for cowards. I won't get into super detail with that because, again, they're in the rule set. But cowards can only be rallied in a certain way. It usually has to be a leader comes up to base with them and basically slaps them around and says, "Wake up! You know, get back in the fight." So that's kind of some. And the cowards have some rules to them about what they can and can't do on the field. If they're like running away, there's certain restrictions what they can do. And then the heroes, there's several kinds of heroes. So, you know, the highest hero is friggin', you know, it's like John Wayne on the battlefield. He's kicking some ass. And then you got just kind of unrecognized heroes, which is just a little buff, you know, to give a little flavor, but it's a lot of fun. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to show, we're going to get into, what are we going to do next? We're going to do shooting. Let's do shooting, okay? Because that's a big, big thing in the game, obviously. This is a war game, so duh. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to set up a little firefight and let you see how it works, okay? We'll be right back. So we're back. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the actions that are provided for your figures. Okay. Now there's tons of them. I'm not going to get through every single one, but for everything that you want to do on the battlefield, it's going to take some sort of a certain number of actions. Okay. So like let's just do like a grenade. Okay. So for you to throw a grenade, you have to spend an action to ready it. So that's basically like get it out of your backpack or out of your belt. You know, pull the ring and like get ready to throw it. So the first action is you readying the grenade. Okay. And then for you to throw it, it's going to take a second action to throw it. And grenades, certain types of grenades go out a certain range, or because there's a bunch of different grenades. You got canister grenades, you got cluster grenades, you got egg grenades, you got offensive, defensive grenades, all sorts of grenades. So most of them have a certain, like ball grenades, like egg grenades are thrown a certain range, where stick grenades are thrown a different range. But anyway, I digress. Now there's other actions. You can go prone. Prone is free, but for you to stand up, it takes an action. For you to shoot, it takes an action. For you to climb something or leap over something or bash in a door or something, it's going to take actions. Now, there's also something called man actions. Certain activities on the battlefield might take several man actions, and what that is let's say you want to dig a foxhole. It's going to take a certain amount of man actions to dig that foxhole. Okay, so man action activities usually allow you to do multiple figures to come in and combine and use their actions to help dig it faster. But there's lots of different actions, and it's in the rules. So, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the most common ones that we do. We're gonna do movement actions. We're gonna do firing actions. Right here in this little battle. So what we got here is we've got some Russians moving up, and they're behind this blown up wall. And over here we got some Germans hiding behind this train embankment, this railroad track embankment. Okay, so obviously you've seen that they kind of surprised them. The Russians were trying to get across, and they got shot up. Okay, so now what we're going to do right now is we're going to roll for initiative just for fun to see who goes first. Okay, so the Germans are going to go first. Okay, so again, at the beginning of the turn, a unit, every figure here has two actions. Okay, but whenever you're light wounded, you only have one action, and that represents them, in the pain and the lack of function because of their wound. Okay, but everybody normally has two actions. Okay, so and when a unit performs their actions, everybody in the unit performs their first action first. Okay, you don't do his two actions and you do everybody's first action, and then everybody who can will do a second action. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is you also declare what you're going to do. Okay, you're basically going to say, this machine gun team is going to shoot at the Russians. Okay, whatever. Okay, so and you do that throughout whoever's going in this activation, and you can't rescind it. So like if this machine gun team wipes out the whole unit and you wanted to use this guy to shoot somebody else, well, his thing is kind of negated because it all happens at once. All the actions happen simultaneously. Okay, so that would prevent him from, like, if the machine gun killed everybody, he gets to run. No, everybody's action is declared first, and then they perform it, and then you declare all your second actions, and then everybody does their second actions. Okay, so I'm declaring this unit is just going to shoot at the Russians here. Okay, so now this is the squad leader here. He's going to help out the machine gunner, give direction. So what that does is, if you have a leader of any kind that's base to base to a unit, leaders have what's called leader modifiers. Now this guy has a -1 to any of his action or any of his roles because he's leader. He's more, he's more efficient. He's more confident, whatever. But he's going to give that modifier to this gunner, okay, because they're base to base. So the gunner is going to be at -1 to hit this crew. Now this guy right here is the loader to the machine gun. So only thing he's doing is he's feeding ammo to the gun. Okay, that's all he's doing. So now the German MG42 here, okay, it rolls in one action. His action of fire, okay, allows him to roll 5 dice. All right. So and at this distance we're at 14 inches. Now machine guns, they produce kind of like a cone shape. It's not the whole unit, it's whatever's in the cone. And we'll get a little bit more into that when we get into weapons. but it's basically only going to be able to shoot kind of in this center mass here. So he's going to shoot, and remember, he gets a -1 to his roll because of the squad leaders giving him the hand, helping him direct the fire. Okay, so he gets 3 hits, okay? And what we do within the cone, we're going to randomize who gets hit. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 guys that are in the cone. So the first hit is going to go on number 4. So 1, 2, 3. This guy gets hit once. Next guy, he gets hit twice. Now, hits can double up on the same thing. So then we got this guy gets hit once, and the last one hits with this guy. Okay? Then I'm going to roll to wound. So we roll for this guy. Okay, so he gets a suppression. So what that means is this soldier here, due to the enemy fire, is forced prone. So he jumps right to the ground. Okay? We're going to do the light machine gunner here. Oh, okay. So looks like this guy just got a KIA. So when he gets KIA, he's down. So he's down. She's down, I should say. So this guy, that's nothing. I rolled a friggin' 20. That's nothing. And I'm taking into account for the cover modifiers as well. And you guys don't see that, but again, it's in the rules. Now this one, first, nothing happens to him, and then, ooh, a 2. Second one, that takes her down. So she's a KIA as well. Okay. Now, this guy, he's going to perform his first action, and he's got a Car 98, so that's a bolt action. That's for every action of fire, you get 1 dice to roll. So he's going to roll, and he misses. Okay, so the unit has performed all their first actions. Now I'm going to declare all their second actions, what they're going to do. Same thing. Everybody's going to do the exact same thing. Okay, so now that I've declared the unit and what they're going to do, we're going to perform our actions. And again, we'll do the light machine gunner. He's going to shoot at the squad again. He's going to roll 5 dice. Ooh, okay, so there's a couple misses there, 2 hits, and then we've got a jam. All right, now again, this is kind of in the weapon category, but we'll go ahead and do it because it happened. Okay, normally a belt-fed machine gun, if it has a dedicated ammo loader, if they roll a jam, the loader will roll on his morale to see if he's able to unjam that weapon real fast and keep the gun going. Now, jams don't automatically mean that the weapon is actually being physically jammed. It can mean that the weapon's run out of ammo. There's some sort of, like, maybe they need to change out a barrel or whatever it might be. Okay, but it's something that holds up the fire. So he's going to roll his morale. Okay, so he rolled an 18. Okay, and he's at a +5 because he's light wounded. So that means he is not able to unjam that. So that jam stays. Okay, so we got 2 hits to the squad over here. We're going to randomize. Now there's only 2 in the cone again. So we're just going to say high and low. So the first hit goes to her, and the second hit goes to her. So each one of them get 1 hit. So the high one, nothing happens. And the low one, nothing happens. So they're cool. Okay, so that is an example of a unit performing fire actions. Okay, so now that they've done their fire, it's going to be the Russians' turn. Okay, now because the Russians lost a couple people, but they're not at half, so I don't have to do a morale check. So now it's their turn because that's all that's left to do. Now the Russians are going. So I'm going to declare what the Russians are going to do. The Russians are going to fire back. Okay, now we do have one girl here. She is going to ready a grenade. Okay, so everybody's going to do the first action. So we got 1, 2. We got 2 rifles shooting at the Germans. We got 1 hit. Then we got 1 submachine gun shooting at the Germans. We got 1 hit. And then this girl here, she's pulling out a grenade and she's readying it. Okay? So we'll see who gets hit in the unit here. Okay, they got 2 hits, so we got 4 guys here. So this guy is hit and this guy is hit. So we're going to roll for the light wounded guy, and he's light wounded again. So what that means, 2 light wounds make a KIA, or heavy wound, excuse me, and he's down. He's dead. Okay? Heavy wound is basically they're so wounded that they're ineffective in combat. Okay? Now the squad leader will take a. He's good, okay, but he is suppressed. So what that means is he's just forced prone, okay. Now that was the first action fire for the Russians. Now the second action, the two riflewomen are going to shoot again. The submachine gun is going to shoot again at the unit, and then this girl is going to try to throw a grenade. Okay, so I'm going to roll the rifle ones. They miss. The submachine gun is going to shoot. We got one hit. We'll see who gets hit. Now we've only got one, two. We got 3 guys left because that one's technically, well, actually it's still alive, so it'd still be 4. Okay, so this guy will get hit with the shot, and he is forced prone as well. So I'll just mark these 2 guys. I don't have my prone marker on me right this millisecond. Here we go. Prone and prone. Okay. Now, we're going to measure the range of the grenade. That's pretty far for a stick grenade, but she can still do it. So I need to roll. There's lots of modifiers here, but you'll see that in the modifier for grenades. All right, look at that. She rolled a 1, guys. So she whiffs that thing. Woo! Hail Mary right on top there, okay? So her dedicated target was going to be the machine gunner. I failed to say that at the beginning, but you actually dedicate where you're going to throw the grenade, and her intent was to go right here, okay? So what happens is we get the grenade high explosive effects template, okay? And you put the A right on top of the target, okay? So what underneath the targets, there's there's an A ring, it's in the middle, the C ring, and the E ring, okay? So the A, we're gonna roll on the A chart. That guy's toast. He's dead. KIA'd.
Poor fella.
And then we had a E. Nothing. He's still suppressed. Now, whenever anybody's in a blast of any kind, they're automatically forced prone, okay? Unless they're supernatural nature or they're wearing like badass power armor crap. But yeah, normal troops are forced prone. And then this heavy wounded guy here. Now, how this works is if a figure is touching in 2 rings, you always go with the better ring, okay? Always go for the better. So this guy's gonna be touched with the C. Does that look like a C? Nah, it's an E. So I'm rolling the E. Okay, so he rolled a KIA for that. So that guy's definitely dead. He's a KIA. All right. Now, so that was an example of how squads perform fire actions and how there are multiple actions in each turn are performed. Okay. Now, again, there's lots of different kinds of actions. Let's do a movement action here. Okay. So let's say we'll use the same unit here. Normally, all human-sized figures can move up to 5 inches, okay, with a single action of movement. Now they can run up to 8 inches, but there's a trick with that. When you're running in this game, it's like you're sprinting. Okay, you're not just you're like you're legging. Okay, so and you can only do that in certain environments. You can't be doing that in the heavy wood because you'll be getting skewered by tree branches or tripping over stuff. It's only pretty much an open terrain where you can really hoof it, okay? But if you do a move action, 5 inches, the next action can be anything you want to do, anything. But if you do a run action, the next action has to be another move. Because you can sprint and you can't just go, argh! You're not the Flash. Trust me, I'm not the Flash. You got to slow down. So as you sprint, your next action is going to have to be to slow down. Okay, so that's another. You need to think about that when you're doing your movements. This isn't like in some games where everybody just they all run and they just bash in and whatnot. You gotta take into account that the next action is going to have to be a slowing down action. Okay, now normal figures, human figures, they can crawl up to 2 inches. Okay. So you can, and that means you're considered prone, and there's modifiers for being prone, and you can crawl up to 2 inches. Okay. Now those are the most common actions that you're going to do in a game. Again, there's tons of actions. There's tons of them. And if there aren't any actions listed, guess what? You get to make them up. Be sure to tell me what they are because they might be cool. Like pick your nose. I don't think you need a full action to pick, but if you got one really deep in there, it might take a while. So it might need an action for it. But anyway. So next thing what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what are we going to talk about next, baby? How about we do our special action declaration? Because remember, if we go back to the last, there's a special fire category in the phase, and we're going to kind of go through what special actions that your units can take that allow them to perform, kind of break the sequence in the gameplay during the opposing commander's turn. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to check that out. Okay, we'll be right back. We're back. So I talked earlier, just then, that we're going to go through some special actions that you can set your units on. What these special actions allow is your units to act in your opposing commander's phase. Okay, so my cameraman's giving me some grief, but I love her. She's a nut, but I love her. You should see her. She's doing all sorts of crazy stuff. We might have to do some behind the scenes action because that might be the X rating. Okay, so first one we got is Aircraft Overwatch. Okay, when you put your units on Aircraft Overwatch, they're basically just sitting ready, looking up skyward. Okay, because in this game, other than obviously aircraft flying around, you could have flying units like superhero type things, or monsters flying around, or jump troops bouncing around. Basically, your troops are looking skyward and waiting for something to appear in the sky, and then in the turn, when an enemy sky unit or airborne unit flies, over, that unit would be triggered, and it could fire during your enemy commander's movement or their actions. Okay, but you would set that special fire at the beginning of the turn, and that's called Aircraft Overwatch. The next one is Ambush. Okay, so you got your units out, and they're hiding, and when you put it on Ambush, what that does is your unit stays still, doesn't shoot at any enemy units. They may pop up in front of them, unless they're within their weapon's close range, or the range that you being the commander has chosen. Okay, so like if a weapon's range is 15 inches, or let's say 12 inches, the close range would be around 6. Okay, so basically your guys are just sitting there waiting for that perfect kill zone, and right when they get that 6 inches, boom, it's triggered. And they'll interrupt the enemy commander's phase, and then you go open up on them, okay? And that's called ambush. Then we got opportunity fire. Opportunity fire is like ambush, but it's just when you're sitting still waiting, and the moment any enemy moves in front of you or does an action in front of you, you open up. Okay, you don't wait for them to get to the kill zone. You just immediately shoot at them. And that's called opportunity fire. Okay, and there's something called pinning fire. In this game, you can produce pinning fire against the enemy. And what that is just sustained fire that forces the enemy prone or keeps them, keeps their heads down so they can't move. Okay, now, for you to use pinning, there's several kinds of pinning fire, okay? The first one is plunging fire. And what it is your machine guns, and these are machine guns, okay? You use these for machine guns. You basically elevate the machine gun, and it does like an indirect fire. It does a plunging down in a downward motion. So it shoots over, and it basically just peppers a certain area of the battlefield with bullets. Okay, any enemy units within that area are force prone. They're getting shot up or whatever. Okay, so that's plunging fire. Raking fire. You set raking fire, and it's basically small arm. Automatic weapons can use raking fire. It's basically like those. Squad leaders just let loose with their Tommies, just shooting up a like a window to keep the Jerry's down as your troops are running up to throw grenades in it. So, but what that means is, okay, so for an example, you've got, we'll say there's a machine gun unit, or a machine gun team, German machine gun team in a window. Okay, so you place your squad leader who has a Thompson. Okay, you say, I'm gonna do raking fire on that window. So for the whole turn. Okay, for that turn, all that guy's doing is pumping in 45s into that window, okay? Forcing everybody in that window prone, okay? So, what happens, he's doing that for the whole turn. But if you, being the German player, want to stand up and use that machine gun, if you do any action other than crawling when you're being suppressed in some sort of pinning fire, the enemy unit shooting it will get a full round of fire. So that means the let's say the Germans stand up to shoot their machine gun. That means the Thompson guy shooting will get a full round of full action of fire against them. And if they survive or whatever, then they can shoot whatever they want. But that happens for the duration of the turn. They're just you got machine guns just lighting them up. And if anybody stands up, boink, they get one in the old beam there. Okay, and then spraying fire is like that as well. You just spraying and you're just keeping people down. Okay, now with the raking fire again. It's now spraying fire is for submachine guns or small arms weapons, like automatic weapons. Now, whereas raking fire is for like machine guns. Okay. Now, and it basically, as if you've been in the military, you know that one of the main reasons for machine gun is suppressing fire. Okay. So this allows your actual machine guns on the board to suppress. So if you want to suppress an alleyway because enemy infantries are inbound, you just hose that alleyway for the whole turn. So if anybody wants to come down that alley, they're going to take actions of fire with a machine gun. So that can be devastating. It's a real world tactics used on this battlefield. It's not just shooting to kill them; it's shooting to just suppress anything that goes in there that's going to get shot up. Okay. So those are some examples of the special fire actions that you can do during the turn. And again, we went through a little bit of the shooting right here. Now there's more detailed rules for the modifiers, for the cover, and if you're wounded, and you can aim to get a better shot. There's things called captured use, like if you find an enemy weapon that you're not trained in, you can use that, and there's a modifier against it. So if you're like, I don't know, if you're a Russian and you come across your first MP44. I mean, you're not exactly sure how it works. I mean, it's not like brain science, but there's a little modifier because you're just not used to it. But like a super tech stuff, like if you come across an MP44 with an IR system in it, then it's like, ooh, how do you work this thing? So there's a modifier to it. So it's captured use. And then there's other modifiers. In the rules are also the effects chart. That is what happens to the figures that you shoot. Like their wounds. There's a chart here, okay? Each weapon has a certain letter column that you roll on the effects chart, okay? And again, I'm not going to show it to you because, it's a big old column and it looks boring, but it's awesome. So we go from A to J. So A's would be like autocannons, like you get a big 20 millimeter go doop, 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 blowing people up. And then J would be like a javelin, like you throw a javelin at somebody, you shoot them with a blow dart or something. So it's everything in between. Okay. Now in the rules, we got most of the weapons here that a modern, 19 World War II era modern warfare would have. But we also have primitive weapons, would be like blowguns, like I said, crossbows and javelins and stuff like that. Single chamber rifles. Some of the third world armies that you might come across in your game, and might only have like the single fire rifle shots. Then we go through all the small arms, the submachine guns, pistols, shotguns, assault rifles, carbines, rifles, machine guns, light machine guns, medium, heavy, large caliber machine guns would be like your 50 cals, and then your autocannons are considered machine guns. Anti-tank rifles, all your different launchers, grenade launchers, bazookas, recoilless rifles, all that stuff. We got sprayers. Now sprayers are considered like chemical sprayers, flamethrowers. We have like freezers and smokers, so you can, and then all the various different grenades that you find on the modern battlefield, Molotov cocktails, and then various explosives, mines, satchel charges, demolition bombs, all sorts of stuff, okay? And then we've got advanced weaponry, we've got electroshock weapons, microwave weapons, sonic weapons, and stuff like that. And it's all detailed in the rules, okay? So I don't want to get through every single weapon because this video would be forever. And I know you hate looking at demo videos, so I'm trying to make it just kind of simple, fast. Our battery's running low, so what we're going to do, we're going to get this mother charged. And I'm going to spank my camera girl for not loading it, or not charging it. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do a quick thing of close combat. Okay, close combat's pretty fun, and it's bloody, and it's a lot of fun, so come back.
1 hour later.
So we went through the shooting procedures and some of the other kind of special fires that we have in the game, and we touched on grenades and the explosives and stuff. So right now we're going to do close combat. Okay, so close combat works when the attacker moves in base to base with the defender. Okay, so how that works is whatever model physically moves in to base with an enemy, either on purpose or on accident, they will be considered the attacker. Okay, in most circumstances, and the person who's just standing there and gets run into by the enemy is the defender. Okay, so depending on so we're gonna look down here and we're gonna see we're using our Russians and Germans here again. So we're gonna say it's the Germans' turn now. Okay, so they're gonna do an action. They're gonna do their first action and they're gonna declare a charge onto the Germans. Okay, so their first action they're gonna run. Okay, so they're gonna run 8 inches up. Okay, in their second action, their intent is to engage in close combat with the squad. Okay, so these two have plenty of room, so they're going to run base to base with this guy, and this one's going to run base to base with this. Okay, so how this works is because now there are certain options that defenders and attackers can have. Okay, so if you're an attacker, and if you have an action left in the turn, okay, you can choose a shoot option and a strike option. The shoot option basically allows you to shoot your weapon as you're moving into close combat, and a strike option is basically you're using a weapon or your fists or whatever to strike at the soldier, the enemy. Okay. Now, the defenders also have a few options too. Now, depending on if they have any actions left, which we're going to say they do. Okay, this is they haven't gone yet this turn. So the defenders will have several options. So their normal options would be the deflect. They have a deflect option, which basically they use whatever means they have to try to deflect the attack. Or they have a dodge option. It basically means they jump out of the way of the attack. Now, if they do have actions left in the turn, they can choose a shoot option or a strike option. So that means as these Russians move in, they can shoot their weapons, or they can strike with other weapons or whatever, their shovels or whatever they might have. So the Germans are going to have actions, and so the Russians are going to choose. As they move into attack, now they won't have any more. They won't have any more actions to use other than this one close combat action. So they get to choose. They won't be able to do a shoot option, but they'll be able to do a strike option. So basically, they're running in and they're going to bayonet the guy or hit him with a shovel or their stock or whatever. So as they move in, okay, that's their intent. They're going to use their attack. That's the attack. It's going to be a strike attack. Now, the German does have actions left in his turn, so he is going to choose to shoot. Okay, and he's got a submachine gun. He's got an automatic. It's a C96 pistol, but it's configured in the submachine gun role, so he's going to shoot that full auto as she comes into play. So as she starts moving into play, moving closer, he's going to shoot at her. Okay, and that'll be his close combat. Okay, so he rolled 2 hits to her as she's running forward. Okay. So we're going to roll the wound. Okay, so she takes a KIA result, okay, when the battle's done. Now, as she's still moving in, that inertia, even though she's been shot, she still gets to do her strike attack, okay? So she's going to make a strike attack. She's using her bayonet. She's going to roll, okay? And she rolls a light wound result, okay? So what happens is even though she ends up dying, it happens in close combat. Okay, it doesn't happen beforehand, but it basically gets there and she shoots her dead. But she's able to skewer him a little bit for a light wound result. Okay. And again, in the close combat rules, there's a lot of there's several modifiers depending on like multiple. There might be multiple combatants. There's rules if you're fighting a creature that's larger than yourself or smaller than yourself. There's ways to back out of close combat. There's a lot of different stuff, and there's modifiers. And again, those will be in the rules because I want to get I don't want these videos to be really rule oriented. I just want to do a summary of the rules and then allow you to go to the PDF and look through the rule book. Lots of examples in the rule book, so you'll be okay. And again, we're doing this real fast, okay? And so what you'll do, you'll keep fighting close combat until everybody in the close combat for that turn is out of actions. The minute they're out of actions, if there's not a definitive result, meaning that one enemy's dead and the other one isn't, it's basically like they're locked in combat for the rest of the turn. Okay, so there's no, even if let's say half of that unit is in close combat and the other half isn't, the other half can do their actions like normal, but that unit, the half that's engaged in close combats, that expended those close combat actions, they're stuck. So it's basically they're just fighting in close combat. There's like the whirlwind of little stars and Saturns coming out like we used to, see in the cartoons. This basically happened, and it locks them down for the whole turn until the next turn. So initiative is very important because in the next turn, whoever gets first initiative will have that result to choose what they want to do before they attack. But again, so close combat's pretty fast. It's not highest roll wins kind of crap. They got to be in close combat together. So it's really brutal. It's figure to figure, and they just duke it out until they're dead. Okay, it's pretty rough. So it's really fun, especially when you're fighting against big things. So you're fighting against like golems, and you're fighting against like weird bio construct, mutation monsters or something. It's pretty fun. So. But again, those special rules and stuff are in the rule book, and again, it'll be in the link below. And but it's a lot of fun. It's pretty fast. It's not as fast as some rules, but we really want to give like a flavor of the game because some of these games you'll have figures that you really become attached to because they do like pretty cool feats. They take a lot of damage. They cause a lot of damage. They become heroes, and you want to see them out. They're not just some nameless face in your rank. They actually become like either real fun or they're just worthless. Okay, so that's close combat. Okay, so next what we're going to do is I'm not going to go into close combat to vehicles. We're going to go ahead and just it's in the rule book, and we'll let you guys check that out. It's similar. You need actions to run to the vehicle, and you need an action to place like whatever you intend to use against the vehicle. It could be you can throw a grenade on top of the vehicle, or you can put a satchel charge on it, or throw a teller mine on it, or whatever it might be, depending on whatever the intent to attack the vehicle. If it's armored, it's got to be some sort of have some sort of AP in it. So, and there's rules for that. Like for an example, I'll go ahead and do a quick one. We'll say that this IS-2 is moving along here, and we'll say this German over here sees it and he's got a teller mine. Okay, first of all, for enemy, unless they're dedicated tank hunters, normally infantry moving to a enemy vehicle will have to make a morale check. Okay, to see if they're tough enough or they're resolved. They steal the resolve enough to actually run toward this big ass beast of a vehicle and try to take it out single-handedly. So he's gonna make a morale check. Okay, so he makes it. So he has his 2 actions still. Okay, so the previous action he had readied he has a demo charge. Or I said he had a teller mine. He has a teller mine, and he already put a fuse in it. Okay, he put a friction, or he put a like a timer fuse. So basically, it's already ready to go. So he's going to do a full movement or run. He's going to movement here. Okay, and he didn't quite make it to the vehicle. Okay, but the thing's already primed, and all he has to do is get that thing on top of here. So he's just going to throw it. Okay, it's basically right there. He gets it. He basically throws it on top of the engine deck here. Now, in the game-wise, it all happens in the mechanics, but in like real life, right at this point, he pulls the igniter and he throws it, okay? So now he's out of actions for this turn. So next turn, he's going to have to move away, okay, before the explosion. Now, the explosion is going to happen at the second action after its ignition, okay? So after this guy makes a second action again, it'll detonate. So let's say we'll fast forward again. He's here. It's his turn. The teller mine's still on there. The tank hasn't gone yet. So his first action is he's going to get the hell out of Dodge. So he runs off. He does 2 actions of movement, okay? And then once the ending of that second action, boom, the teller mine's going to explode, and you'll roll the armor penetration against the top of the vehicle's hull. Okay, and then whatever the results are will be what happened, and that's basically what close combat to vehicles were. All right.
But initiative's important here too, because
Yes.
if the tank would have gotten initiative instead of your soldier, the tank could have run over the soldier.
It's true. The tank could roll back on it, or even a tank, like the tank commander, could pop the hatch, jump out, and throw that teller mine off of the tank before it explodes. Okay. And you can do that, or you just frisbee it back right onto the dude, and it'll blow up. Okay. So this game allows you to do anything you want. If you want, again, if the tank commander comes up and gets the teller mine and he sees a squad of Germans over here, he can throw the teller mine that has not detonated yet onto here, and boom, you got, he's using the enemy's weapons against him. It's however you want it to be. It's, again, this is as straight historical as you want it to be, and all they do is move forward and shoot each other, or you can have crazy things where guys are jumping on top of moving railroad trains and driving trucks into tanks to blow them up. You can do anything you want. The mechanics are there. You can do anything you want, so do it. Be as weird as you want, or be as conservative as you want, but we want you to be weird, so be really freaking weird. Been doing, okay, so next we basically did all the infantry stuff. We went really quick on the close combat for vehicle and troop. We went through the shooting, we went through the grenades, the various just roughly over the explosion or the explosives. And again, be sure to get the rules and read them. I don't want to make these super long videos where you're bored. So next, we're going to do a couple examples of vehicle combat, okay? And after that, we'll do an example of onboard and offboard artillery, okay? And then we'll be done pretty much with the demo videos. We know we told you that we wanted to do several other sectional videos, but honestly, we are biting at the bit to freaking start playing. I'm ready to get my Chinese to kick friggin' her Japanese ass. So I want to play. So we're trying to get these demos, and again, it might feel rushed, and it is. Again, I'm not making any money on these rules. I'm not trying to sell them to you. We want to go through the rules so you understand what we're doing as we play, because we're not gonna explain, what we're doing in game when we start playing out the war, because we just want to play out the war. Okay. And again, these videos, all the links will be down there. You can click on them and download the rules. They're all free. They'll be in PDFs. Check them out at your leisure. You can follow along, do whatever. Have questions? If you got any questions, just let me know, okay? But we're going to go wrangle up some vehicles, and we'll come back and we'll do some vehicle combat. Okay, so vehicles use the same kind of principle when it comes to infantry, with the exception that the vehicles don't move themselves. It's their crew that moves them. So that means that everybody crewed in the vehicle, again, has 2 actions, okay? That means the driver has 2 actions, the gunner has 2 actions, the loader, the assistant gunner, or coax gunner, radio operator, tank commander, whoever might be in the vehicle, okay? So for a vehicle to move, there needs to be somebody using an action to actually drive the vehicle, okay? So at the beginning of the turn, we'll just go ahead and we're going to use this tank just for this demonstration, okay? In this vehicle, I believe there are 4 crewmen. Okay, you have a driver, you have a tank commander, a gunner, and a loader. Okay, so at the beginning of the turn, again, just like infantry, the crew have a troop rating or a troop quality. Okay, we're gonna say they're regular, and they have morale. Okay, and they're gonna be 10s. The crew are gonna be 10s, and the tank commander is considered kind of like the squad leader, so he'll be a 12. Okay, so again, you're going to declare at the beginning of the turn, you're going to declare everybody's first action first, okay? So that means the whole crew is going to perform all their first actions first, and then you can do your second actions, okay? So right now, we're going to say, I'm going to declare that the driver is going to drive, the loader is going to load armor-piercing round, the gunner's going to use his coax, and the commander's got his head sticked up to help view the surrounding area. Okay, so we're going to say we're going to start him here. Okay, and if you want to see just so the commander's technically got his head out. So he has his certain command range. So he gets his free sighting check. He's going to do sighting. He doesn't see anything, but he does see this infantry here. They're walking in the open, and from this point, they're automatically acquired. So he's like yelling, "Enemy troops!" and it looks like some sort of enemy armor, forward. Okay, so that's in his first action. So the driver, his first action is going to try to maneuver his vehicle, okay, to better attack that. So this is the IS-2, and again, this is going to be a vehicle sheet. Okay, it's going to have the information that you need. It's going to have. I'm not going to go through this. Again, this will be in the rule book to get more detailed. You've got a vehicle characteristic here. They'll give you your armor, how heavy the vehicle is, how far it can move per action, and all the weapons and whatnot. So this is what you use, okay? So the IS-2 here, its movement per action is 8 inches, okay? So the driver is going to perform his first action to move the vehicle 8 inches, okay? So he's going to pivot the vehicle. That's my clinkety clink. Or clinkety clink, clinkety clink, clinkety clinkety clink. If anybody reads comic books, war comics, it's clink, 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 clink. So, okay, so that's his first action. The loader's loading around. Okay, now the gunner, he's going to use his coax machine gun to give a spray to the infantry there. Okay, so he can pivot, and again. In the rules, again, I'm not going to get into all the details and the minutia about it, but in the vehicle rules, it tells you how each vehicle can pivot without, taking a full action to do so. The turret speed, some turrets are slow. Like this turret is really, really heavy, okay? And none of this is hydraulic stuff. This is Russians, man. They're using like little hand cranks. So it's a slow moving turret, okay? But anyway, those rules will be in there. So the gunner's gonna clank his turret over here, and he's gonna do some coax shooting over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna range here. We're 20 inches from the gun. I'm gonna shoot my little machine gun at the troops. 2 of them hit. We're going to randomize. It's only these 2 anyway from the arc that he can get. We'll see high is the front guy. Hits the front guy twice. We're going to roll on the wound chart. Okay, so he's down. So he takes a heavy wound. So, that dude is down. He's probably happy because that's the dude with the damn Panzerfaust. All right, so he's down. So that is everybody's first action in the vehicle. Okay? The driver drove the vehicle. The commander gave orders. We can even say he did a sighting check, which we didn't do, but he can do that. Like if it's outside of his command range, he's just doing a sighting check, and he can make the sighting check. The loader slammed in a armor-piercing round, and the gunner shot his coax machine gun. Okay, so that was everybody's first action. Now it's everybody's second action. Okay, now the IS-2 has one drawback. It is an armored beast. 122 millimeter badass cannon. It's got armor like a friggin' battleship. But one of the drawbacks for this vehicle is that it takes a little bit to load. It takes 3 actions to load this beast. Okay? So the loader's real busy in there. He's throwing in a round, and then he's got to throw in the repellent, the propellant in it. So it's a slow loading vehicle. So his second action is the loader still loading the vehicle, okay? And the driver is going to keep driving, and he sees that there's an armored car right there, so he stops, okay? And the commander is like, ah! So he's going to button up. So the commander is going to button up the tank, so none of this infantry can throw grenades or whatever. And so when this armored car starts shooting, he's not going to lose a head, okay? So he buttons up. The driver moves to a stop, and then the gunner is going to go ahead and hose that infantry again, okay? So he rolls, he gets a hit, we're going to roll the wound, okay, nothing happens. Okay, so that is the turn for this vehicle, okay? So now we're going to roll initiative. Since there's no other Russians on the board, it's just the Germans. So I'm going to have these infantry. DD is a damn Stalin tank, so they're gonna probably run this way.
Get the hell out of there!
Let's get the hell out of Dodge, Joe. Franz, let's go. Fritz, and we'll be right back. We gotta answer the phone. All right, guys. So we're gonna do the second action for these German infantry. This guy's gonna pick up this. His second action, he's gonna pick up this Panzerfaust, and his other buddy's gonna run by him. Later, go. Later, dude. I'm out of here. Run away. So they're DDing out of the way. Okay, so now the only unit that's left is that armored car. Okay, so again, just like the German tank, or the Russian tank, excuse me, this armored car has 4 crew, okay? There's a driver in the front, there's a driver in the rear, and then in the turret, you've got the vehicle commander and the gunner, okay? So they have 2 actions. Again, each crew member has 2 actions. So go ahead and activate the driver. Now, it's auto-acquired. The commander, you can speak to the crew can speak to themselves without any kind of actions or whatever that. They can start screaming. So right now, you know, Lieutenant Franz there is screaming to Fritz to move the hell back because there's a giant Stalin tank in front of him. And that's only a 20mm autocannon on that bad boy. Okay, so the driver's like, yes, sir. So they're going to try to back up. Okay, so the armored car can move up to 15 inches per action, but because they're on a road, they can triple that. Okay, so that thing can just drive off the damn board. Okay, but we're gonna make it spicy. Okay, so we're gonna say that Fritz mishears his commander. Okay, and decides to go forward to try to flank the thing. Okay, so he's gonna move forward, try to get a flanking shot. So, and the commander's like, oh, let's just go with it. And he turns the turret. Okay, and so he starts to shoot. Okay, now he's gonna start shooting at the vehicle. The gunner's going to start shooting at the vehicle with his autocannon as they're moving, okay? Because this armored car does not have any gyro stabilizers. This isn't some whiz-bang techno stuff that like our modern warfare has. So what's going to happen? Usually when a vehicle is moving, as they fire, it's the normal. It's going to be half to hit what the normal needed. So the guy needs normally a 10 or less to hit on his morale, on his roll, to hit roll, but because they're moving, that's halved. Okay, so now he needs a 5 or less to hit. But there's some more modifiers because the vehicle's so large. There's a modifier there, and they're so close. There's a modifier there. So he's going to need probably like an 8 to hit. So I'm going to roll, and he gets 1 hit. Okay, so now this is how this works. When a successful hit hits a vehicle, this is the side of the vehicle. We've got vehicle sighting charts here. Okay. We're going to pick the side of the vehicle, okay, and we're going to roll to see where that round actually hits, okay. It hits the 11, okay. So the 11 is right there, right? It's going to hit like right here, right in the hole, okay. Now, the side of the hole of this vehicle, okay, is going to be, let's see, a 19. Okay. Now the AP of this 20 millimeter autocannon is only let's see, it's only an 11. Okay, so you can't do anything. The rounds are just gonna ping, 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 bounce off. Okay. Now, some weapons will not penetrate. Okay, they will not do it, but they still can cause damage if there's vision blocks, or if there's stowage, or if the location that's hit is like a gun. You can foul the gun up. You can mess up, it can detrack a track. But where the round actually hits here, it does not do anything. So it's just a wasted shot, okay? So that was our first action, okay? So second action, the driver's still not listening to the commander. He's just freaking out. So he's going to drive again, okay? And he's going to get point blank, just nuts, all right? And the commander's like, just go with it. So he drives up to here, and the gunner's going to shoot at the back of the turret right there, okay? He rolls his 2 dice to see if he hits. He hits. Okay, he's going to check. Now, within a certain range of a vehicle like this, it's so close, the location is not going to be randomized as much. So it's just going to be the actual locations within this area, which are probably like 4 different locations. So we're just going to roll a d4. Okay, so it actually hits the turret. Okay, so first round hits the back turret, and the second one hits the turret. Okay, so the rear of the turret here is an 8. Okay, so we can actually penetrate this. So what you do is you get the armor piercing characteristic of the incoming round, and you subtract that to the armor value of the location. So 11 minus 8 is... I'm looking at my technical whiz being right here.
Oh my gosh, 11 minus 8
So like
is
is
7.
There
No,
you go.
no, it's
No.
not.
8.
No, it's not. It's,
8.
what?
8.
11 minus...
Let's do our fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's actually a 3.
That's a 3.
Okay.
Why you gotta put me on a spot?
I'm just fucking. We'll be kind of drinking, so we're a little. We're a little tipsy. Okay, so that's what I need to roll to successfully penetrate this. Okay, penetrate. Anyway, all right. So here we go. I'm gonna roll, and look at there. We got a 2. Yeah. The other one does not penetrate. So normally some rounds can hit and still cause internal damage depending on the size of the round, but usually anything of 37 millimeter or lower will not cause any damage internally when it hits something. But like a 40 or 50 millimeter that hits a location that does not penetrate can cause internal damage, okay? Or like let's say you hit like the driver's location with a 50 millimeter, but you do not penetrate it, you basically wound the driver. He's been wounded by the impact, by the concussion of it, because the round is so large. But he's not. He can still. Remember, when you're wounded, you still have 1 action left. Okay. So anyway, okay. So we got a penetration here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look on the chart here and see what it says on the rear of the vehicle right there. It's the 19. Okay, so that's actually where the loader's position's at. Okay, and it penetrated. So automatically, the loader's considered a killed in action. So the loader of the vehicle is now dead. Okay, from the penetration, the loader's killed.
Poor little
Okay.
Bananas change.
That's right. Now, whenever a crew take a casualty due to enemy fire within their vehicle, okay, they're freaking out because they think they're in this badass armor that a damn armor car couldn't penetrate. All of a sudden, Dimitri over here is splattered all over, Gustav, okay? So the crew freaks out, so they got to make a morale check. Just like a squad would lose so many men, they got to do a morale check. That's what this crew's got to do. So I'm going to do a crew morale check. Oh, man. Okay, so they just roll a 20. So guess what? The crew become cowards. Okay? So what happens immediately? The crew will bail out of the vehicle, okay? And they'll seek cover, all right? So let me grab some Soviet crew real quick. Okay. Now, just like normal infantry, a crew can be rallied, okay, and they can remount their vehicle. All right. So just because your crew dismounts doesn't mean that the vehicle's lost or whatever. So let me grab 3 crew. Only 3 now since their buddies all splattered with a 20mm shell in the turret.
Rub it in, rub it in.
Okay, so first action, they unbutton and basically just kind of get on the deck of the tank, and then they're gonna bounce down. So basically, it takes 2 actions to dismount the vehicle. So so that's where they end at this turn. Okay. Now that's the end of the turn. Okay. So we'll keep playing this out and see what happens. Okay. So we're gonna roll initiative. Baby, you wanna roll a die?
Sure.
From your Rooskies. Let's see who lowest gets to go first. Ooh, 9. Okay, so technically,
I got a 9 too.
no, you got a 9. Yeah, I got a 15. So you go. But if we follow our turn sequence, this is the compulsory phase where anything that's broken does their action. So she doesn't get to do anything. So right now they're going to expend their 2 actions to find plus 5 cover. So it'd be behind the building. So they're going to just hoof it. So they're running up behind the building and they're going to go prone behind the building. Okay? So at the beginning of next turn, they can try to rally and they can try to get back in their vehicle. Okay? So that's their turn. Now it's the Germans' turn. Now, because we're doing okay here, you know, we're talking Iron Cross action here because of this act. Okay, so the driver's going to go ahead and do an action to go in reverse. Okay? And the commander's going to turn the turret. And then they're going to move to a stop, and they're just going to ready themselves, okay, in case something comes around that corner. Now the infantry, okay, they see what's happened, and they're going to run over here. They're going to use their 2 actions to get closer. And you know what they're going to do, folks? Who says you have to kill a tank with a big old gun? You know what they're going to do? They're going to run up and throw some grenades in that bad boy and just blow the inside of it up. All right? So that's what their plan is. All right, so that's turn. They've done their 2 actions. The crew has done their 2 actions. Now we're at the beginning of a new turn. Okay, so now it's the turn.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can they hijack that tank?
They can. If these Germans want to take this vehicle and go for a joyride, guess what? Nothing's stopping you. They'll have some modifiers. That's called unqualified modifier because they're not quite sure. Everything's in Russian, obviously. And they've never used it before, but by God, they can jump in there and they can try. Okay? How would you like that? You start controlling your buddy's stuff. You're like, oh, I've always wanted to play your friggin' Pershing tank. And you're playing Japs. So you're like, yeah, let's go kill some Americans. So, and you can do that. And
We'll be right back.
we'll be right back.
1 hour later.
Damn, guess what? One of our viewers sent us a bunch of treats from Canada. Our friends from the Great White North. We got some Old Dutch ketchup flavored chips. Check those out. Then we got some Hawkins Cheesies. Canadian Cheetos. Can't wait to taste that. We got some Coffee Crisp.
Coffee.
Smarties.
Oh, I've eaten Smarties
And
before.
Arrow. So,
I've had Arrow,
oh, and
too.
everybody, this is my lovely daughter, Lola. Lola, everybody.
Hello.
All right, so first thing, this is for fun, so we're just gonna do it. I'm gonna try some of these chips here real quick. These are ketchup flavored chips, y'all. Woo! Those are good.
Yes,
It tastes like ketchup, that's for sure. Baby girl.
That's right.
tastes exactly how. It tastes when I dip my
Oh, they're
chips
like-
in it.
Yeah, it's
They're almost pink.
It's basically when,
Except
I don't know about, some of you guys are all caught up in the, oh, I don't want to mix stuff up. It's basically when those potato chips get stuck in your ketchup.
Okay, it tastes like a French fry and ketchup.
Yeah, something like
That's what it
that.
tastes like.
Pretty good. Okay, baby, why don't you try a coffee crisp?
Oh, okay.
Maybe you try a coffee crisp? Check it out.
And
And I'm going to try an Arrow.
now I've had Arrows when I lived in North Dakota. They
Yeah.
sold them up there, so and they're pretty good. Oh, this looks dry and
It
gross.
looks kind of like a Snicker.
Ooh, this is like a peanut. Chocolate covered peanut.
Yours look good. Mine
Look
looks.
at half of it.
Mine looks like an old candy bar.
This reminds me of like a Snicker bar without the nuts on it.
This just tastes just like a chocolate bar.
Oh, it's like a Kit Kat
It's like, ooh, damn.
with coffee flavor.
That shit.
It's a coffee flavored Kit
Oh,
Kat.
it's coffee flavored.
Well, it's called a coffee
Delicious.
coffee
Here,
crunch.
eat
My
that.
Kit
Try
Kit
that.
Kat one.
You've had Arrow. Try this Arrow.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, my cat. Maybe it has catnip in it. But he's like, what are you doing?
Weird. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna try some Smarties, y'all. They look
Yeah.
like maybe like belly jelly. What are the jelly beans? maybe?
Jelly bean? Oh, maybe I haven't tried those. Those are different.
And again, we want to thank our pals up in Canada for this.
Is it like a nerd? I think they taste like nerds. I think I've
Like
had them
M&Ms.
before.
M&Ms.
Oh, it's chocolate in the middle?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Will I get smart by eating these?
Kind of like
You need it. So you can subtract 8 from 11.
Oh my god. What's 11 minus 8? 3.
3.
That's it. See? Homeschooled too.
Yeah, it has chocolate in the middle.
All right. So Hawkins cheesies. So these are supposed to be the Canadian
Here you go, Lila.
Cheetos. So
There
You're
is
gonna be-
kind a little like off, just kind of like off budget M&M.
what are you saying? The
Or-
Canadians
or
can't
no,
have
no.
full budget?
Yeah, they do taste like dollar store chocolate.
Oh, wonderful.
Like, yeah.
But we love it. Thank you for the gift.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so here we go. Canadian Cheetos.
Can't go wrong with Cheetos.
Never.
I've never
They got it right.
ate a
Good
wrong
job,
Cheeto.
Canada. Good job, Hawkins. Those are good. Ooh, they're crunchy. Like really crunchy.
They're probably stale. They're probably super
No,
stale.
they're not stale. Come on now. These are from our pals. They wouldn't send us stale stuff.
No.
So listen to that crunch.
Oh
It's a
lord.
big crunch, baby.
Okay. I'm a connoisseur of
Man,
these,
Cheetos
so
are like crack in this house, man.
Cheetos.
Well, kudos to all that.
They're orange.
From Texans, we never had. I'm full-blown Texan, so I've never been that far up north. So
Oh, those are good.
our palates might be a little different, but man, this stuff's good. I don't know about that ketchup chips though. Yeah, I mean, it's basically like dipping your Lay's into a ketchup, you know, and let it get kind of soaked. But anyway, we're gonna finish these up, and we'll get back to. I know this is the. Hey, look, this is Weird War, baby. Weird War. Include Hawkins cheeses. We'll be back. Now that we stuffed our face and I've gotten fatter, we're back to the game. Okay, so this is the beginning of the next turn. Okay, so we go through the listing here. There's no smoke. We do have a broken team here. So Mel's gonna make a rally check here. She's gonna roll a morale check to see if her troops can rally. Aha, so they're good. So they're no longer broken, all right? So they can act normally this turn, okay? So now we're up to initiative to see who gets to go first. Will she be able to mount the tank before the Germans do? Uh-oh, 13, a 5.
Germans
Okay.
up.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to, you know what I should have done? I didn't do it, but we're going to do a little retro, okay? I'm going to put these guys on opportunity fire, okay? Remember, it's in one of the marked special action phase. So I'm going to put my troops on opportunity fire. So, in case those Russians run around the corner to get back in their vehicle, this armored car will be ready there, ready to blow them to hell. Okay? Alright, so I get to go first. So what I'm going to do, so the armored car can't do anything this turn because it's got a special fire on it. So it's basically stuck until, you know, for the turn, waiting for that trigger to trigger. So I got my troops here. So you know what we're going to do? We're not going to try to mount it, but we are going to try to destroy it. Okay, we're going to throw some grenades in this bad boy. Okay, so I'm going to have a couple guys move up to it. Okay, and then it's going to take, that's our first action. And these two guys, well, I guess I'll back them up too. Okay, then their second action, these two guys are going to mount up onto the vehicle. All right.
So athletic.
So that's all they can do. And then these two guys are going to move up here. All right, so that's all they can do. All right. Now it is because the Germans are on a special action. They can't do anything right now. Then it's the Russians' turn. What do you want to do, the Russians, baby? What do you want to do?
I want to move around that corner so I can take some shots.
Okay, so normally when a crew dismounts, if it's a broken dismount, the only weapons that they may have on them is if the crew carries sidearms. Okay, they didn't grab their submachine guns or grenades before they dismounted. They freaked the fuck out. They bailed out, so whatever they got on their hip, they have. So although these guys have submachine guns and rifles in their hands or whatnot, they actually only have pistols. Okay?
Which is fine.
So, okay, so you're gonna, the minute you move around the corner, baby, you see these Germans mounting up into the vehicle. Or on top of the vehicle. What do you want to do? You want to shoot at them?
Yeah, I think I'm going to shoot.
Okay, so they're all gonna move over here. Although you guys can't see it, do you want to walk around?
Walk. It's not.
While she's walking around, I just want to show you our excellent Lone Star Historical Miniature Society tape measures. So if you're down in Texas and you want to hook up with a bunch of gamers, gamers club, check out Lone Star Historical Minis.
Yeah, we checked out the one in Round Rock.
That's right. They have a convention, Millennium Con, every November in Round Rock, Texas. So if you want to see us, we're always there. Probably not this year because we got the COVID, but we'll be back. So we're always doing our Weird War there. So if you want to see us, we'll be there. Okay, but anyway, we're back. So she moves. She does an action of movement to get over here, and then she's like, "Hey, that's our tank." Are you gonna do fire?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna fire.
All right. So now they have pistols, and pistols shoot two dice an action. Okay. So she's gonna roll 6 dice. You want me? You want?
Yeah,
roll?
go ahead and roll for me.
I'm gonna roll.
Only this one.
So they need these guys need 10s, and this needs 12s or less. 10s. So we got nope and nope. We got 2 hits. Nope and nope. Okay, so we only got 2 hits. So because they're shooting at the group, they're shooting at the guys on top. We're gonna randomize high rolls, 1 on each guy. So we're gonna roll for him, see what happens. Oh, a 1! She just popped that and killed him.
He gone.
KI'd him with a pistol. Good shot, baby.
Right between the eyes.
And the other guy is a 14. That's not gonna do anything. Okay. So their first action was to move around the corner. Second action, they shot and they killed one of the dudes. Now, although these guys, the armored car is on opportunity fire, they cannot see the enemy, so they're not triggered. Okay, so basically this turn, it's a dud for the turn. Okay, so the next turn, you want to keep playing this out?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right. So we go to the next turn. Do I want to keep these on opportunity fire? I do not think so. I'm going to take this off. Okay. So now we're going to roll for initiative to see who gets to go first. Do the Germans go or the Americans or the Russians?
Russians.
I got a 7 and she got an 11. So the Germans go first. So I'm going to choose of this squad of my units. I think I'm going to do the armored car first because it's going to drive around and try to hose these dudes. So first action for the driver is we're going to get this sucker moving. So 15 gets to about right here. So as we're getting right about there, he's going to shoot. The gunner's going to shoot his autocannon
No.
at the troops.
No, they shoot my
But again,
people.
as you shoot while you're moving, in the same action as the driver's driving and the gunner's shooting in the same action, right? They're in their first actions. It's a half to hit. Okay. I'm gonna shoot high explosive because autocannons have AP and HE. All right, a 3 and a 4, so they hit. So autocannons causes an A in the C ring. So we're gonna randomize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 1 hits this guy and 1 hits this guy. So he's gonna take an A hit. Yeah, he's dead. This guy's gonna take an A hit and he's dead. And the other guy's gonna take a C hit and he's dead as well. Ugh. And you would mark the guys. Now again, there's different wound levels. There's gory deaths. There's killed in actions. There's heavy wounds, light wounds. So these guys all took a KIA. So because all the Russians have been killed, it basically ends the turn or ends the game because you've cleared the field. Okay. So that was a quick infantry vehicle combat. So we're gonna do another one real quick. We're gonna pit a tank versus a tank. Okay, and it's just gonna be It's just gonna be tanks, vehicles. Okay. So we'll be right back. All right. We're gonna do one more just pure vehicle stuff. Okay. Again, each crew has 2 actions per turn. Okay. Just like treat them like infantry. They just happen to be in a vehicle. Okay. So in this game, in this scenario, we've got over here. We've got a Stalin tank, and again, it has a crew of 4. It's got a driver, tank commander, gunner, and a loader. Okay, and over here, behind this building, we're gonna have a Panther. Okay, and this has 5. We got a driver, a co-driver / auxiliary or coax machine gun. We got tank commander, we got gunner, and a loader. So there's 5 guys in there. Okay. All right. So this Panther's gonna be just off scene. The Stalin's just over there, and what we do is if we have any special fires, which we're not, we're just going to play it out, okay? So what we're going to do, baby girl, my love, roll your initiative, and let's see who goes first.
Don't cheat.
Roll the 9.
I rolled a 17.
Ooh, I'm sleeping with the dice. Okay, so Germans are going to go. So I'm going to have my tank commander's head up so you can better see the surroundings. Before the action goes, if you recall, within his command range, he's a regular. He's got a 10-inch command range. Is it 10 inch? Yeah, 10 inch. Doesn't see anything. I'm not going to make any dedicated sighting checks, so we're just going to get going. Okay, so the driver is going to do a action of driving. Okay, so the Panther can move 10 inches per action. Okay, so we're going to start moving. And of course, you move from the front to the front, so don't be cheating. So as we're moving,
I cheat.
clinkety clink, clinkety clink, clink. Okay, so about here, they clear the building, and the commander auto-acquires a big-ass, stinking Russian tank in the middle of the road. So he's like, Achtung, Panzer! So the driver moves and he stops.
Nice accent.
Okay. And I'm gonna say before the battle starts, you're supposed to declare what kind of round is in the cannon, and of course I'm gonna have armor piercing, and she'll say she has armor piercing, just to be fair. Okay, so the driver moves up to a stop. Okay, the gunner is gonna traverse the turret. Now again, these aren't like super badass whiz bang tanks that the Germans didn't have hydraulic turret traverse. It's all hand cranking. So this is a slow turret. So it's going to take him a full action to get all the way over there to where he needs to be. Okay, so his first action is to traverse the turret. Okay, and as he's traversing the turret, the commander's screaming out orders, blah 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 blah, and they're about to shoot. Okay, so second action we go. The vehicle's already stopped. The commander's got his head sticking out to help line up the shot, and then the gunner's going to shoot. Okay, so we're gonna measure from the optics of the vehicle to the target. So that's 21 inches. Okay, that's an effective range of this 75mm cannon. Okay, so I'm gonna roll a hit. I roll a 4, which is a hit. Okay, so we're gonna roll to see where the location is from the front of the vehicle. It's gonna hit the number 3 location. Okay, and on the front of the vehicle, number 3 happens to be right under the glacis plate in the hull, right there. Okay, so now if it is not going to penetrate, there will be no effect. But if there is a penetration, it'll be immobilized. They'll have to make a morale check. So here I go. Okay, so the armor piercing of this round is a 44 versus the hull. Oh, excuse me. The AP is a 40, and the front hull of this is a 26. Okay? So, I need a 6. Is that right? Cut it. So, the whole armor value here is a 26, and the armor piercing characteristic of this is a 40. So that's 14 or less on a D20 for me to penetrate it. Okay? I'm going to roll here. and I roll a 12. So that is a penetration. So automatically, the vehicle is immobilized, okay? And whenever a vehicle becomes immobilized, the crew have to make a morale check. So here we go. Make your morale check, baby girl. You're at 12, because your commander's in there.
I rolled an 11.
Okay, so the crew is cool, but the vehicle's immobilized, okay? And that's all I've got for my second actions. The driver's not going to do anything. The gunner just shot. The load. Now, this is how this works. So some people think because the driver, or excuse me, the gunner just shot, that the loader can use his second action to start loading. How this works is everybody does their second action at the same time. So that means that when the gunner shoots, the loader's just waiting there. Okay, he doesn't get to throw in another round for his second action. His second action is waiting for the gunner to fire. Now, at the beginning of the next turn, everybody has their first actions, and that's when the loader starts loading his round, okay? Okay, so the German's done his stuff, okay? So now it's going to be the Russians' turn. Okay, baby. Although you're immobilized, but your crew is still good. The vehicle still works. It just can't move. What do you want to do?
Let me see. I guess I'll shoot.
Okay, so she's gonna rotate this turret a little bit. Click, 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 click. Okay, and she's gonna shoot at this bad boyra. Okay. All right. Do you want to roll? Or you want me to, baby?
I'll roll.
Okay. So you need. Go ahead and roll. See what you get.
7.
You got it. So you hit the vehicle. Roll your location. See where you hit from the front.
13.
It's actually from the side, actually.
Yeah, it's a side.
Okay, so the 13 is right here. Now, if in the game, let's say she rolled a location right here where the actual vehicle, the shot would not hit there. The shot would hit the building instead of here. It would hit the building. But the location of the vehicle that is hit is not covered by any kind of terrain, so it's a dead-on hit. Okay,
Ooh.
so she hits the side of the vehicle, the hull. So the whole side is a 12. Okay, and your armor piercing is a 44. So you're gonna need. Don't roll a 20. Now, guys and gals, and all you in between. All right, yeah, that's a total penetration. Okay, so in this game, when you're playing, just like in infantry, if you roll a 1, it always hits. And, okay, in inclusion, it'll half whatever the location that you hit. Okay, it's just like the sweet spot. You hit the exact, like, seam of the armor or that previous, battle damage or whatever. So if you roll a 1 against the vehicle, it auto hits. And then whatever the location of the vehicle, the armor value is just cut in half. Okay. Now, if it's a 20, the round is a dud. It actually jams into the. It jams into the. So they have to, and this is a kicker. Okay. You got to unload the damn thing and then load it. Okay. And again, each weapon takes a certain amount of load time, actions to load. Most things are one action of loading to load. But larger guns, bigger tanks with bigger guns, it usually takes 2 or more, okay, to load. So that can be 2 actions to withdraw the shell and 2 actions to put another one in. That could be pretty brutal in a combat zone. Okay, so she hits, she penetrates. Okay, she penetrates by quite a bit. And there's a formula about if you can super penetrate. And she super penetrated pretty good. So go ahead and roll, see what you get, baby.
11.
11, huh? Okay, so she's gonna roll. So she rolled for her to see what happens to the vehicle. On an 11, it's heavy internal damage. Okay, and what that does, the incoming round has easily penetrated the armor before it and damaged the interior and crew. Each crew member must make a morale check. Failing the morale check will indicate a KAA on the member. The vehicle is out of play for 3 turns while the crew deals with the damage. All further actions to the vehicle taken are at a +2 to their die roll. So that's pretty brutal. Okay, so we're gonna roll. If I don't pass these morales, each individual crewman dies. So driver, need 10 or less. 8, he's good. Coax, 2, good. Commander, 1, So guess what that means? Hero!
Of course. Of course he's a hero.
Gunner, a 10, he's good, and then the loader. Ooh, loaders aren't having faring very long.
Did he die?
He rolled a 14, so the loader of the vehicle is dead now. Okay, so because we rolled a 1 against enemy action, we're going to see what kind of hero this bad boy is. Okay, so he's an unrecognized hero, so that just means he becomes elite. His morale gets increased by 1, but guess what? He does have a single action. Okay, so you know what he's going to do. He's going to shoot some smoke launchers. Boop. Germans have these great things. They have the close.
Do they need to load them?
No, they're already preloaded. It's
Oh.
like it's almost like a flare gun that's stuck in the, and it just kind of swivels,
Oh.
and he just shoots. So he's going to shoot that. Okay, he shoots it, and we're going to say it goes boop, right here. I don't have my smoke with me, baby. We're
okay.
totally unprepared. But anyway,
It's fine.
I'm just gonna block it right here. Okay? We'll go get some smoke. But other than that, the vehicle is remember we're out for 3 turns as the crew's like freaking out trying to get everything back in order before they can do anything. Okay? Now, Melanie has a second action.
Yes.
What would you like to do with your second action?
Okay. Can I fix my...
This is a new example.
Oh, it's a new one? Okay.
Oh, but you are immobilized.
I am
You
immobilized. I can't move.
can't. If
And I can't shoot because I have to. My loader has to load.
So yeah, so
load
you think
a-
you should start. Now,
My loader
on
has
the
to do
Stalin
his
tank,
thing.
guys. The load of it is 3 actions to
Right.
load these beasts. Now, certain crews that are elite or better can load faster. It deducts 1 action from the load time to a minimum of 1. So, but these guys aren't elite; they're just
Yeah.
regular.
So I'm just going to spend an action, my second action, to load.
Your loader. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what about the rest of the crew?
The rest of the crew is going to stand by.
They stand by.
And make
All right.
sure they're buttoned up safe.
Okay, so that's turn. Okay, so we'll be right back and we'll go to the next turn. I'm gonna go get some smoke. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So as you can see, I put some smoke down. So we're at the top of the new turn, and again, this is the environmental section of the phase. So we're not gonna say there's any wind, so it's just gonna sit there and smoke.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so no one's broken. So we follow through the criteria through the different phases of the turn. We get to let's roll our initiatives, baby.
Okay.
I rolled a 4.
I rolled a 19.
Okay, so I get to go first. So again, because of the damage, I just reduce the out of play by 1 because they're still in there. They're probably putting out fires, getting Fran's guts off of they're wiping Fran's guts off of the the optics so the gunner can see the shoot. So that's probably what they're doing. Okay. All right, so that's my turn. Now it's the Ruski's turn.
All right. Well, my loader is going to continue to load.
His first action, he's gonna load.
Yep.
Anybody else gonna do anything?
They're in their shit in their pants. They just like...
Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Yeah, they're just trying to give moral support to him, so...
Okay,
he's
so
doing-
second action.
Second action, he's going to continue to load.
Okay,
and
so
finish it
now
up.
the loader has expended 3 actions of loading, and the vehicle is now loaded. But because it took the second action, she can't shoot.
Right. And I can't use my gunner because he was loading on the same action as my
the
gunner.
now the gunner cannot shoot the main gun during this obviously the same action that's being loaded, but he can shoot his coax machine gun.
But that isn't going to do
But
much.
it's not going to do. These guys are
Yeah.
in armored, and you can shoot at the. Now we do have rules. We do have rule, and again, I'm not getting. This is just very basic rules. Okay, there's tons of rules in here. And again, you can use them, or you can skip them. It's whatever you want to play. But we do have rules where you can reduce the optics and the sensors of a vehicle. And obviously, these aren't like range finders and stuff on this thing, but you can use machine guns to reduce like vision blocks, to damage gun optics and stuff, and basically blind a vehicle. So if you have a 30 cal and there's a tiger coming down the street, you can, in theory, in the game mechanics, you can shoot at the optics and damage the optics. Okay, so that's one. You're not going to kill the tank, but you're going to prevent him from shooting, which is a big thing. But be warned. tank crews did have, they had replacement optics, not like tons of them, but they usually kept at least one replacement optic to replace. So something to think about. Vision blocks too. You can shoot out vision blocks, from the tank to blind, but of course they have replacement blocks they keep within the vehicle. But again, that takes actions that allows you to move closer without being seen, so you can stick those Molotovs into the muzzle or into the engine deck, whatever you want to do. So,
I would have definitely used the gunner or the guns in front if he was not buttoned up. If he was
Yes,
sticking his
because-
head out, I would have peppered the hell out of
that's
it.
correct.
So
usually, you see in all the pictures where tank commanders have their heads exposed because so they can see all around them. And when a tank commander or when a crew is exposed to a degree, you can see a lot better. Okay, because when you're buttoned up, your field of vision is pretty limited. So you'll usually have your tank commander's head sticking up. So that you got your snipers and you just got your machine guns, start peppering. And there's penalties for a tank crew shooting without a tank commander because they're relying solely on their optic and not any kind of assistance from the commander with his head up lining up with the vehicle. So it's a bonus. Okay. Anyway, okay, so she's done her stuff and I've done my stuff, so that's the turn. Okay. So we'll go to the next top of the turn, environmental. So this smoke starts to clear a little bit, so it gets a little smaller. Okay. All right, baby. You want to roll for initiative?
sure.
I rolled a 20.
I rolled a 6.
All right, so she's up. So she has an armed vehicle, but it can't move. And you have a smoke cloud in front of you. Now, guys, these mechanics are as real as you can get. Okay, just because there's a smoke cloud in front of you does not mean you can't shoot through it. There's just penalties for it. Okay, if you can't see the target, but you know it's there, you just shoot blindly through it. And
I can definitely see the target, though.
Okay.
The smoke is small.
No, okay, so yeah, the smoke, okay, so how this works, and that's a good point, okay? We're just going to say the smoke is as wide as it is tall. So technically this smoke is probably up to here right now. Okay, although it's obscuring part of the vehicle, okay? It's not obscuring all of the vehicle. So what we usually do is we'll go ahead and pre-roll the location that the round will hit. If it hit. So go ahead and roll, baby.
4.
A 4 on the side. Okay, so a 4 on the side of the Panther is going to be the middle wheel right here. Okay?
Okay.
And she can see that from that vantage point. So when she rolls the hit, there will be no halves to hit because she can see that. Now, in theory, if the target where she would have hit would be right here, being obscured, we would let her roll half to hit. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So roll away. Okay, so again, you need a 14 or less to penetrate this bad boy.
And I got a 4.
Oh, damn. So she penetrated it right there. Okay, so now, a penetration right there, my vehicle is now immobilized. Okay? So I need to make a morale check. 8, we're good. Okay? And that's the only the damage. So you immobilize me, and I immobilize you.
We're just sitting here loading and shooting at
Okay,
each
so,
other.
so just desperate acts between combatants. Okay, so that was your first action. What would you like your second actions to be?
I'm going to load.
Okay, so the loader's starting to load. So
Yep.
he does his first load. He's got 2 more before he can shoot. Okay,
Yep.
so now it's my turn. Okay, and again, we can't do anything except work on the interior of our vehicle. So we go down to 1. So we got 1 more turn, and then we can act normally. Okay, so now it's the beginning of the new turn. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and just remove that. Okay, now we'll roll for initiative. So who goes first? I roll 19.
And I rolled a 20.
Oh, look at that. So, okay, so we're going to remove that. So next turn we can act normally. And now it's the Wooski's turn.
Okay. Loading.
Okay, so the first action is to load.
Yep.
Anybody else want to do anything?
You know what? I'm going to have my gunner shoot just to,
This machine gun just
Yeah.
to shoot at? Okay.
Yeah,
So
just
roll 4 die.
show them that, hey, I'm not
I'll
dead
roll for
in
you.
here.
Roll for you.
Yes, please.
So so 2 of them hit and ping ping ping, and you roll for locations.
Okay.
So you hit ping ping. So it's scaring them, I
Oh,
guess.
fun. And then he's going to
And-
load again for my second action.
Okay, so she spends 2. So next turn, her first turn, she can shoot. But you don't want to do things just for fun like she did. And let me
Yeah.
give you an example. Is because the weapon can jam, and you're like, shit, I shouldn't have even shot that because
And then all of a sudden, a zombie comes out, and
It's
guess
true.
what? Your machine gun's jammed.
That's it.
So,
you never know. With
you never
Weird
know.
War, all sorts of craziness happens. So don't do things if you don't have to because you regret it. Okay, so now it's my turn, right?
Yep.
Okay, so now my vehicle's empty because didn't have a chance to load it. Okay, so it takes me 1 action to load my vehicle. So guess what? That load. Oh, guess who's dead though? The loader. So guess what happens? My commander is just going to take over the loader's position. He's right there. He's just going to jump into the loader spot and he's going to do it. Okay. Now it's going to take an action to do that. Okay, so it's going to take, basically he unplugs, pulls the dead body out of the way, gets in that position, grabs the round, okay? Second action, he can load. But we're in our first actions right here, okay? So, because I'm immobilized, I can't do anything, right? So what I'm going to do, though, is the driver and the coax machine gunner, guess what they're going to do? They're going to bail out. So they open up and they bail out, okay? Now, our second actions, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna load. The tank commander's gonna load his round. He's gonna roll AP. Actually, we're gonna do APCR. Those are the turtle penetrator tungsten round bad mothers. So, okay. So I load that bad boy in there, and then my Germans here they're gonna hoof it. They're gonna they grab some grenades. Their second action, and they're gonna run. So hut 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 hut. Although I'm using an infantry model. I got tank crew models, so don't give me any shit. They're not with me right now, but we're just gonna use them. Okay, so that's everybody's second action. That's the end of the turn, right?
Yep.
So we go up to the top again. All right, so we're on top again. So we're gonna roll for initiative. Come on, Germans, 2.
Oh,
All right.
it's you. I got 19.
All right, so first action, this crew is going to hoof it. Okay. So
See, and if I would have gotten first, it could have
That's
been
right,
a whole
guys.
different.
This is where initiative is crucial because now she's got 2 problems. But if she went to gun first, she could have hosed those dudes down with the coax machine gun. And then,
You know I would have.
I know you would. She's like that. Okay, so first action there. First action here, the gunner is going to, he's going to aim. You know what? I'm not going to do that. That thing's so big, I'm going to hit it anyway. Watch, I'm going to miss. I'm going to hit it anyway. Okay, so first action, we're already loaded. We got it loaded last turn. So he's going to shoot this bad boy. It's an effective range. All right, look at that, a big 2. That hits it. Boink. Front. The 17 on the front of this big beast. Ooh, it hits right here, folks.
No.
The 17. It's the shot trap. Some of these vehicles weren't designed the best way, and often it caused what's called a shot trap. Some rounds would hit the armor and bounce down. Guess where it bounced down to the top of the hull could cause problems. Okay, so the shot trap for this vehicle. Let me get. The tail slope front of the IS-2 created a shot trap that would ricochet some non-penetrating rounds down into the hull roof. Any non-penetrating round striking the front 17 or 19 could ricochet into the shot trap. Roll a d20 roll on an 8 or less that indicates the round has ricocheted down and penetrated the roof. Okay, so I haven't rolled to see if I penetrated yet. So I'm going to roll here. And I actually penetrate, so it doesn't do the shot trap. Okay? So at that location on the 17, the loader's killed. Look at the loader's just got... Okay, the loader just got wasted. Man, the loaders are not faring well in this stuff. So she's got a KA with the loader. Her crew needs to make another morale check.
Okay. 7.
7, they're good. They are good. Okay. Now, also, that's all the damage does to the vehicle right now. Okay. I killed the loader. They had to make a morale check. Okay, that was the first action. Second action, the commander's throwing in a new round. And then I got my Germans to run up. They're going to run another 8 inches.
No, not my tank.
All right. Then now it is the Russians' turn. Okay, so we're back. So we're at the top of the turn here, and the lovely Melanie has won the initiative, and she is going to do something with her tank here because I've got my tank crew dismounted, and they're trying to sneak up to the back of the tank, throw some grenades on it. And she's going to try to stop that. So let us check it out.
All right. For my first action, my gunner is going to reverse the turret because my machine guns are in the back right there.
There is a bow machine gun in the rear of the
Yeah.
turret. That's correct.
So I'm just going to turn now.
That's good. Yeah.
My loader is for his first action is going to load. And my commander is going to start shooting these guys.
All right, fantastic. Now, because the turret is being moved in the same time as the commander is going to be shooting, it's going to be half to hit, okay?
Okay.
So you'll roll 4 die. Would you like me to roll those 4, baby?
Please.
All right, 4 dice. You're at close range, like point blank range, and they all hit. Very good. We're going to do.
Hey.
We're going to allocate the targets, high and low.
Okay.
1 on the high and 3 on the low. So we'll do the high one. And he is a KIA.
Oh. Sorry, Fritz.
Down. Alright, and then we'll roll for the other 2, or the 3 on the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
We've got, nothing. There is a suppression though. So 1, this guy is forced prone, okay, by the fire. So he'll fall prone right there, okay? All right, pretty good. Okay, now
Awesome.
second action.
Second action, I'm going to get my loader to finish loading.
Okay, now it's completely loaded now.
Yep. And I'm going to have my commander finish this guy off
Okay.
with the machine gun.
Now, because this guy is now prone, there is called a shadow between what he can see outside of his vision slit. It's usually 3 inches out, okay? But I think you're good. I think you're good enough because that turret extends out. So I think you can see the guy.
Awesome.
So shoot away.
Pow. Pew, pew, pew. That's how it goes.
So you got 3 hits,
Woohoo.
and the man is down. Another KIA.
Oh, man.
Shooting. There goes my plan. Damn it.
Yep. And it all is because I won initiative.
See, initiative, folks. It could be life or death in this game. Okay, so
And
because
my gunner still has a second action.
he does have a second action,
Which he...
cannot traverse the turret. And you remember why, folks?
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody's second action happened simultaneously.
right.
So for her commander to shoot in his second action, the gunner cannot traverse the
Yes.
turret. Because they would all be happening simultaneously. So you gotta think in stages. You gotta think that all your guys are working exactly at the same time. Because that's how it is in the actions, okay?
Right.
So you can't, this is a perfect example where you would want to, because you're doing that one guy's action and you're thinking you can traverse, it all happens at the same time. So just remember that, okay?
Okay.
All right, so now it's the Germans' turn.
Yes, it
so,
is.
thank you for turning your turret to the rear so I can stick a round in there. So I'm going to try that. So in my first action, I'm going to actually aim at the vehicle just to get a good shot on there. That's what the gunner's going to do. The commander's going to, he's actually going to pop his head up, to be honest with you, to give some assistance to it. Because, folks, if the vehicle is buttoned up, there is penalties because there's just not quite the viewing that you can get, and the commander he's better off his head exposed to check everything out. But anyway, the commander's going to give his assistance to the gunner as well to line up this shot. Okay. So my other guys are dead. So blah, and the loader is going to reload the smoke launcher with another smoke round. Well, okay. All right. So here we go. I'm going to shoot, and I roll an 8, and that's a hit. So from the rear, hopefully we'll see what we get here. It's a 14. A 14 to the front. Actually, it'll transverse to the rear of the turret. Ooh, 14 on the turret is like right here.
Oh, that's bad.
All right, let's do a penetration here. That side of the turret. Let's see, turret side is a 19. And my cannon is a 40. So I rolled, oh my goodness, folks, a 1. And you know what that is? That's the best. So I'm going to roll the penetrate for that location. It's automatically going to do. It's automatically going to.
Everybody dies.
Normal damage. All right, so we're going to roll on the vehicle penetration chart here. I'm at, ooh, my goodness. I rolled another 1. That's a catastrophic hit. The incoming round has scored a direct hit on the ammunition racks. The vehicle violently explodes, sending the turret in a random direction for 1d6 inches. All crew are instantly killed, and any unprotected personnel next to 1 inch of the vehicle sustains a roll on the C column hit. Boom. So let's see where that turret flies.
All right.
Back. It looks like a land on my dudes.
Good guys.
Talk about insult to injury there, huh? So yep, it'll land like over here. So there you go, folks. That's an example of vehicle on vehicle combat. So, and all vehicles work like that. Everything from a motorcycle to, you know, a Maz tank. Okay, it's the crew that does the movements. It's not the vehicle. The vehicle doesn't act in its own independent state. It's the men inside it that do it. Okay, so just remember, and you got to remember your actions, how they work. Okay, because remember, first actions all happen at the same time. Okay. All right. So next, we're going to do a quick example of artillery. We're going to do an onboard artillery strike and an offboard artillery strike. Okay. And we're going to set the table up for that, and we'll be right back.
1 hour later.
Okay, guys. So we're back, and we're going to look at artillery. Okay. So there's 2 different kinds of artillery in the game. You have onboard artillery and offboard artillery. Okay. So onboard artillery is when the actual physical artillery piece is on the board. Okay, that means mortars, artillery, cannons and whatnot are actually physically on the board. They have a crew, and you take actions and whatnot on the board. Now, anti-tank guns and stuff like that are considered tank guns, and those are described in the vehicle rules. But you shoot guns like that, like line of sight, like you'd be shooting like a tank gun. Now, onboard artillery cannons are the same way. You level that artillery down, and you use line of sight to actually fire the cannons, and you use the actions of the crew to load and whatnot. And that's how like a direct fire weapon would shoot, line of sight, the normal. Now, okay, so indirect fire is a little different. Like mortars, rifle grenades, things like that. So how it works is that we've set up a little scenario here, okay? What we got here is that the Russians were advancing here, and all of a sudden the Germans have a machine gun nest here, and they start shooting them down, okay? So this machine gun here is doing a suppression fire here, and it's forcing these guys prone, okay? And they need to advance. So the squad leader has called up a mortar team. Okay, so they're gonna advance up into from the woods. So they're going to advance up. They're going to bring their mortar with them. Okay, so their first action is a movement. Okay, and their second action is to set up. All right, so, and that'll be the turn. Okay, then the next turn, this German machine gun is continuing to suppress this squad. So these guys are going to need to try to reduce that machine gunness so they can advance. Okay, so how this works is because the spotter actually has line of sight to it, they're going to shoot a ground. So first thing you do, okay, and we'll go through the first thing you do, you're going to place a new target marker. My target marker is going to be right in the middle between those two guys. That's what we have physical line of sight between here and here of the target. Okay, so that's the first action. That's the spotter is spotting in the location, and the gunner of the mortar is altering his mortar. Okay. Then what we're going to roll is we're going to do a marker shot. The first round is like a marker round. So what we're going to do, a spotting round, or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to roll an artillery dice here. Okay. So the round comes in and deviates in that direction, 8 inches. Okay. So we move it and we place the marker where the ground landed, and it landed right here. Okay. So and it explodes. All right. And this is a 60 millimeter mortar. And this is going to do a small HE. So boom, it blows up right there. Now that's again, this is the spotter round. All right. So now the spotter of the mortar can physically see where this landed. Okay, where this. So it can alter. So the next round, it can alter its location to hit that that machine gun team. Okay, so their first action again was for him to sight in, the spotter to sight in, and the crew to sight in their mortar, and the second action was to shoot around. So at the next turn, we're going to go ahead and fast forward this. It's going to be the next turn. He's gonna correct fire. Now, if your spotter can see where the initial round hit, they can move the marker without calling in a new strike. So they're just going to basically say, left 50 meters or 20 meters or whatever. So I'm going to move the marker right back to here. Okay? All right. We're going to see if we can hit again. All right. So it deviates again. So it lands right in front of them here. Okay? So boom. It lands right there. All right? So again, they're going to have to repeat this thing. Now, normally these mortars here have a half action to load and shoot. So they can technically shoot several times in a turn. So we're going to, because the round hits in line of sight of the spotter, it's a quick change. He doesn't take a full action to do it. So he can alter it again. Then he can move that marker 15 inches. He's going to move it right back, and they get one more try to hit this bad boy. All right. So if you look here, that's a hit. Okay. If you get a hit, that means the target lands exactly where you want it. All right. So in this case, boom, it lands exactly where I want it. Both men take an A hit by the blast, and they are both down. Good shooting. One's actually a gory death, and one's a KIA. So they have effectively taken out that machine gun team with mortar fire. Okay. All right, good shot, dudes. Okay, so now this team is going to stand back up. And they're going to run up here. They're running up. Okay. Ah. And this team's going to do the same. Their first actions are going to run up 8 inches. Okay. Second action, they're going to run up again 8 inches. Okay, so as they move up, unbeknownst to them, we have a medium machine gun team up here, and they're on opportunity fire. So as they round that corner, they're going to shoot at that team. Ooh. So we got 5 hits here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to roll a d6 to randomize. This one gets hit. This one gets hit. This one gets hit. This one gets hit. And this one gets hit twice. So this one gets 2. She's down. Jeez. And this one. Ooh, that's a gory death right there. We're going to just use this marker over here. GD'd. Okay, then the other one. Oh, that's a KIA. And then this one. Okay, that's a suppression. Alright, so this team has been massacred by this op fire, okay? And this other team's going to run up. Okay, so that's the turn. We're gonna cycle through it. We're gonna roll real quick to see if the Germans go first or the Russians. Okay, so it looks like the Germans are going first. So they're gonna shoot again at that one lady that's didn't quite get out of the way for the next turn. Ooh, yeah, she takes quite a few hits. Yeah, she's a goner. Okay. So the Russians' turns. They're gonna move up. So as the Russians start to move to the corner here, they realize that there's the machine gun had shot, but there's also some accompanying infantry, and they're shooting at them on op fire too. So they're gonna shoot. Ooh, there's a 1. 1 hits. Ooh, okay, so this girl gets shot. Ugh. Okay, so now this is the predicament. They obviously can't see the enemy that's shooting them there. Okay, and they have a mortar. They have a mortar on board here. Okay, so what we can do is we're going to show another example of onboard artillery using spotters where the mortar cannot physically see it. Okay, so what we're going to have happen here is we're going to call up this spotter. All right, now for spotters to work for when they're engaging, when they're away from their actual artillery unit, they have to have some sort of communications. Okay, they got to have a radio phone or a field phone or a radio or something like that. Okay, so but they can also, but if the artillery that's shooting can see the spotter, you can have like hand signals kind of thing. Okay, so it wasn't beyond where they can say like up, whatever they do.
I actually have a flag person.
Or flags, that's right. So in this case, from where this is at, more likely the artillery crew can see the spotter. So what's going to happen is the spotter's going to run up. She's going to do an action to run. So she's going to run up, and she didn't leap over that. She just kind of run around it. And her second action. So it's going to take her a couple turns to get up here. Okay. So she's going to get up here on the corner here. All right. And hopefully the Germans won't see her. I'm going to do a sighting check because whenever an enemy is they're on opportunity fire again. So whenever an enemy can possibly see a unit move in front of them, they have to make a sighting check to see if they can. So they do not see the spotter. So the spotter's right here, and she's going to do a sighting check to see if she can see the target. Okay. So, oh yeah, she rolled a 2, so she can see them. Okay. So her first action was to do a sighting check, okay, which she did. Her second action is she's going to call in artillery fire from this mortar to that location, okay? So that's her second action. So we're going to fast forward to the next turn, okay? So in her first turn, these guys are going to lay her fire. So her fire was going to place her marker right on the middle of that tower. Okay, and just like we did before, for the first action, they're gonna fire. Okay, so it's gonna deviate 4 inches back. Okay, and it basically lands behind the building. Okay, now again, she can't see where it deviated from. Okay, so she's gonna have to call in the same strike on the same location because she didn't see where it went. So they're gonna roll again. Okay, so it hits. There's a target that hits. Okay, so the round comes in and smashes on top of right on top of the tower. Okay, and we won't get into. We'll say that the tower is, it's obviously made of stone, and we'll say that the roof is really intact, and it didn't do too much damage. Okay, so they realize that 60 millimeter mortar is not going to do it. Okay, so this is where the spotter is going to call in for off-board artillery. So that means she has coordinate, or she has a fire mission capability to call in for artillery support in the rear. Okay, so we'll say, there's a couple, I don't know, 155s, or I'm not sure what the Russians have, probably like 2 billion size. They had some big guns. So we'll just say there's a couple 150 millimeters in the back. And for you to have off-board artillery, you don't just get it. It'll be like scenario based, or if you're playing with points, you'll have to buy the points. Okay, but this is how this works. Okay, so first of all, if it's off board, you're going to call in for a fire mission, a brand new fire mission. Okay, it's going to take the spotter in action to call the rear unit, okay, on her radio. It can't do flags and off board. It's got to be like field phone or radio or whatever it might be. So first thing you do is you have a contact number, okay? The contact number is the number that you need or less for you to, to successfully contact the artillery in the rear, okay? And depending on the situation, the number will fluctuate, and I'm just going to say it's a 15. So I need a 15 or less to contact the rear unit. I do. I get a 13. So I've contacted them, and the next roll that you do in the same action is the availability. So that basically means the response from the unit is going to say to you if they're ready for a fire mission or not. Okay, and that's going to be another number. We'll say it's another 15. Okay, so I rolled a 12. So that means they're ready for fire. Okay, so her second action is going to actually be to call in the coordinates and what kind of spread she wants. Now, spreads are only used if there's a battery of artillery at your disposal. Now, if there's a single unit that's just a single gun, they call them tubes. If there's a single tube that's as your support, then you only get one hit. Or you can set up a pattern of artillery strike. We'll make it easy. And again, I'm not going to get into every single rule because this is pretty close to how you would really call artillery. But we're going to say there's a single tube at availability. So she's going to call in the coordinates, and she's going to ask in for a spotting round. Okay. So the coordination is going to be on top of the building again. Okay. So her two actions for this turn is first to make the contact, and then to call in the fire mission, okay, for the coordinates. So that means those two. So the first action is she's calling and she's talking to the unit. Second action, she's getting coordinates, and the unit's first action off board, they're setting their sights. They're loading and doing whatever. Okay. So then at the beginning of the turn, remember we had the phases in the turn. We have the artillery airstrike turn. Okay. We called in an artillery strike last turn, okay? And it comes in the beginning of the next turn. So we would be coming in this turn, okay? So this is how we do it. Same way. We roll here. If it comes in, okay, so it didn't quite make it. So it deviates 10 inches. So the round deviates 10 inches and lands like right here. All right? And it depends on what you want. You can have you can call specific what type of round of spotting you want. A lot of armies would use white phosphorus or smoke as a spotting round, and some used HE. So we're gonna just say it's an HE round coming in. So boom, it blows up right here, and it just messes up this scenery and stuff. Okay. But because because the spotter can physically see where it landed, she does not have to call a brand new mission. She's just gonna correct the fire. So it just takes a single action to do that. She doesn't have to recall and all that. She's just basically saying, left so many meters or whatever. Okay. So her first action, she's gonna put it back to the top of the hill or top of the tower, and then the artillery is gonna shoot in. Okay, so it deviates 2 inches this way. So it lands like right here. Okay, so it blows up, boom, boom, like right here. Okay, doesn't quite get them. Okay, and you would do that over and over until you get a hit marker. Okay, now if it hits, bam, it hits the top of the tower and doesn't do anything, you can actually call the spotter will say fire for effect, and every round after that will go directly to that putt. You don't have to keep moving it around because they zero in on it, and that artillery just doesn't move its sights. It's just boom, 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 boom. So every turn, it's just pow, pow, the exact same spot.
Does that suppress them?
Yes. So whenever a unit is covered in any kind of template in the blast marker, any kind of template, okay, they're force prone, okay? Now, units that are of regular or veteran or better, they have a special, because they've been in combat, and then when they hear incoming, they dive prone. They automatically dive prone. Now, they don't have to, but they usually do, okay? Now, troops of green or worse, troop quality, they're new, and they just hear this whistle, and they kind of look up, and so they're just going to take the full brunt of this artillery. This is how they learn. But so green units do not dive prone. Okay, they automatically stand up. Now, other units, better quality units, they can choose to dive prone if they want to, and it's a free action. They just dive prone, or they can stand up. It's their call. Okay, but most when they hear this, most of the people in that area that can hear it, they dive prone so they get some cover. But so that's roughly what artillery is. It's a little, this isn't laser guided stuff. This is like, shoot, yeah, that's way off. Move to the left some more. Shoot again, yeah, move to the right. It's it's a dirty business, okay? And it's hard to zero in, but once you zero in, you got 155s, 250s, whatever's coming in. It's just boom, 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 boom. So it's pretty sweet. Now, like I said, in batteries, if you have access to full artillery batteries, there's patterns that you can call in. Okay, once you get that marker down, that center marker, then a pattern forms from that center strike. So that's brutal. I mean, you can have these, like 4 of these, like in a line pattern. That's just like boom, 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 boom. So, and again, artillery can shoot different kinds of rounds. You have smoke. You got, HE. You can even have, bunker penetrating rounds if you're fighting against bunkers. But again, I don't want to get into all the minutia of the artillery, because there's different things that happen. Like if artillery is shooting at earthworks, like trenches and stuff, for them to be affected, the round has to get into the trench or close to where So, but there's more of that in there. But that's roughly how artillery works. It's great. Rifle grenades are similar. Rifle grenades are unique, and then they can direct fire their grenades. They can shoot their grenades direct, like line of sight, and they can also arc it. So they can act as like a artillery, rough artillery if you needed it. If you didn't have access to it, you could shoot over buildings and you could arc the fire, which is cool. So. But okay, so that's just a really quick example of artillery. Airstrikes are similar. You'll never see aircraft on the board unless it's like a helicopter or it's crashed or whatever. But like airstrikes, you'll never see the aircraft on the board. The rules for the aircraft are similar in calling in for an artillery strike. If you have if there's a aircraft orbiting around the battlefield and you have access to that mission, you basically do the same thing. You call in the mission, you put the location, and then the aircraft will come in and drop. They'll either do a strafing run or a bombing run. And if they miss, they miss. And if they still have If they still have bombs left, they can cycle back around and come and do another attack. But it's the same thing. You'll have to call them. You use the contact action to call them. And if there's availability, you do the availability roll as well to see if the aircraft is in position to do a strike. And then it'll tell you like how long it's going to take to get there. So it might be several rounds before it's able to, get back into position to like make an attack in that manner.
And a lot can happen in
And that's it. There's rules in our aircraft rules. There's anti-aircraft fire. So if you have if you got a whirlwind on the field, you got a quad 20 looking up straight, upward, and it's going to start shooting at that aircraft. And that'll be within the aircraft rules. I'm not going to get into the aircraft rules because
and the troops can simply move. They're in a different spot.
And it's true. I mean, if there's aircraft flying around, you want to try to get cover. Okay, you don't want to just stay in place and spread out. Again, in this game, unit cohesion. I don't think we even talked about that. But the squad, all they have to do is stay within command range of their commander, and like a regular leader is 10 inches. So you can spread out pretty good when you got artillery coming in and airstrikes around. So use that. Okay, don't get caught up in this whole rank and file. A lot of rule systems say you got to be within 2 inches and whatever. Spread out. Play this game as realistic as you want it to be. These intro games seem really vague and simple, and again, we didn't want to get into these long videos of how the system works because we just want you to download it and we want you to read it and just play it out as you want, okay? Because I don't want to sit here like video after video because it's boring, okay? I'm being honest with you. Intro games are boring. But we wanted to just give you a flavor of what the rules that we play are like, the mechanics. So if you want to seek them out, come to the links below and download them and read them. There's lots of examples in there and of gameplay. So and you can always email me if you got questions. Just email me. Just shoot me a message, and I'm happy to talk to you as much. This whole video series here is we want to introduce ourselves because we want the community to give feedback and be a part of this. We want to hear about your battles. We want to hear about how the rules work or how they don't work. If you have suggestions, if you have any, questions, let us know because we want to know. And we're ultimately doing this because we want to interact with the hobby, with the community, because we're big gamers, and we want to just show you fellow gamers what we like to do, how we like to play. So that's going to wrap it up for the most part for our demo games. After this series is all loaded up, we're going to start our World War II campaign. Okay, so again, we're going to start in 1937 at the Marco Polo Bridge incident against the Chinese versus the Japanese, and we're going to work through the whole war. Okay, and we're more than happy to take any kind of questions or anything like that. Let us know. If you have questions about the game, about where we get our markers, where the templates come from, the scenery, the figures we're using, anything. Let us know. We'll answer your questions. There's an open door policy here, so talk to us. Just if you want to talk to us about anything. I think that about wraps it up. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you come back and watch all our videos because we're gonna have a bunch of them. So they're gonna be awesome, and the whole aspect of the weird is gonna be playing out. You're gonna see some really cool stuff. All right. So be sure to come and play with us. And I'll ask my lovely assistant if she has anything she wants to add.
I'm just ready to play.
Yeah, she's ready to play. She hates this demo stuff. So we're gonna get this going. So it's a lot more fun. So we're gonna edit this stuff up, upload it, let you check it out, and then we're gonna get playing. Okay. So we can't wait till we start playing and show you what's going on. And I think that's about covers it. We want to thank you, our pals from up north, who sent us our snacks. Those are fantastic. We like the Cheetos. Those are super crunchy. But other than that, I think we're done. And we'd like to say thank you. And whatever we do, keep it weird.